Okay, it's 1 o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order. Matt, would you
Pledge?
lead us in,
Oh, with the pledge?
well, let's do the pledge.
Okay. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, God, for this opportunity to meet, even though it's a relatively small group. So important still. We ask that you watch over us and give us guidance. In your name. Amen.
Amen. Okay. So we have two members of our pork board not able to be here today. Rob was not feeling well, and I think he's at a doctor's appointment, and he didn't want to pass along whatever he has to the rest of us. And Mike is out of town and had let us know he wouldn't be able to participate. So let's move to the minutes. Any questions or discussions? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented from last month.
Thank you, Troy.
Oh, second?
Okay, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, next, Greenway Chinworth Extension, Phase 1 and 2. Matt, do you want to lead this discussion?
Well, no, but I'd be happy to. Yeah, do we have any updates on the progress? And
Could, would you mind
Yeah.
coming up to the mic and, okay.
I am
For the
Stu Safka
recording,
from
we'll
Triad
know who you are.
Associates. And
Thank you.
yes, the only update I can give is that our survey crew, we had a little mishap on their drone, but what we've done is we instructed them actually then to go out and use the old-fashioned method. They drone crashed as they were starting the survey, so, but we're okay. It won't take long. I mean, for them to do it, whether they do it the old-fashioned way, their old equipment and setting points, if they do it with the drone equipment, once they get it done, it'll be a week, 2 weeks. So I, for sure, definitely by your next meeting, we'll have everything. But we did started out, doing our own plans here, and I'm not going to give anything to you because once we get most of the information from them, then we can start plotting them along the roads here that what we do have. We've got the whole trail set and what we need to do and what we're going to look at, okay? Other than that, there's really not much else. John Nelson from our northern office was to have a meeting this morning with your highway, the county highway. That's going to take place either tomorrow or next week because John got sick himself too, so must be going around. So not good news, really no news, hasn't changed, but we will get there. This is usually a problem when it comes to the survey portion of this design. It's a piece of cake once it gets going, so.
Stu, I did have a question for you. As your surveyors have been out there, has anybody come up and said, hey, what are you guys doing here on my property or the property or?
No, we
Nothing
haven't,
like
I
that?
haven't heard anything,
That's great.
yeah, to my knowledge, so. I'm sure that, that will come up, that will arise, so. but
Yeah, that's my concern. I just want to make sure when people see us, they understand like this, we need to make it sure, they think it's a good idea. It is a good idea to have this
Yes.
running through there.
Yeah, I mean, we probably could make an announcement maybe of some sort that there would be that when this, they get in, really do it. I mean, it shouldn't take them long. I mean, if they do it by drone, that's one day.
Yeah.
So, but normally that should take about 2 days to do. It's their paperwork that they do afterwards. That's usually the bulk of that time, and then getting that to us, and so we review and then go back with them and go over the information, and after that, then we can just do our plotting on the map. And I mean, we pretty much have an idea already what we know. I mean, as far as design-wise and costs and stuff, so, I mean, this is gonna be easy to do, so.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
So,
Good, Stu.
great. So two things that relate to this project. One, I happen to know one of the homeowners along that stretch of Old US 30, that first, the first phase. And she is ecstatic that the trail is coming through.
Okay.
Because walking along that road to get down to Chinworth and to the athletic complex is
Scary.
treacherous. So I just wanted to share, at least she knows that things are starting to happen and we're looking at construction next year, and she's really excited about it. And I asked her to let me know if she picks up on any questions from neighbors or anything that we should step in sooner than we would otherwise to try to correct any misinformation if it's happening. But so far, I think that it's
And also, if-
generally
if-
positive.
as we move along through that, if anybody does and they come a calling to you folks or to anyone, and they can always reach out to us, feel free to pass our info along, whether it's email or the phone call, and that's fine too, so.
It's in our best interest to get out in front of this too, because it's in their best interest. It's going to increase their house value. It's going to make it safer, as you mentioned. It's just an all-around win.
Yeah, so I apologize, I know it seems like, oh my God, what's happening, we're not getting anywhere with this, but yeah, this is the hard part, is the beginning, and just getting that, once we get a crew out there, and once that gets settled, it gets over, because that was my first question. We were sitting in our staff meeting last week, and John said, yeah, the survey crew went out, and their drone crashed, and I'm like, okay, so they were getting that fixed, and they were getting a new one or whatever, and I said, well, yeah, but they still have the equipment that they could do it manually, can't they, and go out there, so that's what, so it'll get taken care of. But,
Okay, thanks. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention to all of you, I was contacted by an associate who's part of the Kosciuszko Board of Realtors Social or Engagement Committee. And through their professional association, they can apply for grant funds to help move community projects forward. So I met with two from the committee last week, Ashley Black and Stacy Slichtenmeyer, and they would like to, by October, apply for a grant of up to $7,500 for some type of amenity that could be part of the trail.
Okay,
So what they have to play with, money-wise, is not to build a trail. It's not that level of funding, but what we talked about would perhaps be a bicycle rack, maybe a bench, maybe some kind of wayfinding. I discourage them from thinking about gardens because of maintenance. I don't really think that we have the bandwidth to look at trying to do maintenance right now. And, maybe even something like a picnic table.
Okay.
But what I shared with Ashley and Stacy is hopefully by early summer, we'd have a good enough idea
Oh, yeah.
of where an amenity could be and what might be appropriate. So
Definitely.
just for your team to have that in mind.
okay.
You said that the maps are fairly straightforward. When do you expect we'd be able to see like which side of the road it's going to be on, what it looks like, things like that?
We could, once once we get information back and what we've talked about previously, just amongst ourselves, I mean, we could have it by the end of next month. In May, we can look at seeing where we can go, once we have a meeting with the county highway engineer there, and we can discuss these things, and then what's feasible, and I think we already know what's where, that's in our way, or,
Once we have that, we can look at it and say, this would make sense to put a little bench there.
yeah, and we can even do a mock drawings of things, and we'll do that. We'll give you a preliminary stuff that we could show you, like, yeah, we could do this here, a wayfind sign there, or a bench on this side, or as going up the trail. Yeah, we'll do
Okay.
that. We'll add those things,
Be nice to
incorporate
have.
that into. I definitely can see by end of next month or May, we can, yeah.
That'd be great. So, and I know that your team is working most closely with Rob and Matt as needed between our meetings. But if there's, it
I
would
see why you
be,
asked me, I don't think we've had any sort of communication.
Really, no, John is since he's up this way in our northern office, he was should be the main contact, but you have us as well. I mean, we got each other's contact numbers. Jonathan Moen, who's a PE in our office working on this, he's another contact, myself, and then Lou, my brother, the president of the company's contact. So you'll get all of us. We're all aware of this project and the timelines and what's involved, so.
I can see the amount of communication amping up as we get closer
Oh,
to the
it will.
build phase.
It will. And this is like this, as I said, in the beginning phase of this one, it's like, oh, I haven't heard anything. We don't know. And that's usually what happens. But yeah, as this gets finished and we wrap this up with them, with the survey crew, and we start plotting everything and going through stuff then.
Yeah, it'd be really
Yes.
helpful for us, maybe at our meeting in April, if we had more clarity on timeline,
Okay.
especially related to how we're communicating with the landowners along this section of the trail, as Matt was saying, so we can hopefully be proactive in communication instead of
Sure.
reactive.
Okay, I understand completely there, and then, yeah, we can do that. I definitely know we'll have a timeline. I could probably do that even now, but I just want to I don't want to promise and guarantee something
Oh,
right now.
yeah,
but-
and we want to have information about what to expect before that.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have that meeting.
Yes, we'll do that.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Okay, great. Troy, any questions or comments related to this
No, I think we've
project?
covered it.
Okay.
We're good? Okay. And thank you for joining us.
Uh-huh, yes.
Great. Okay. Next on the agenda is a progress update on the trails master plan. Katie Clark with TSW Design Group had tentatively planned to join us and then ended up with a conflict for today's meeting. She is not planning to join us in person necessarily, but hoping to Zoom in. And thank you, Rhonda, for making it possible for her to join us by Zoom today. And then as it turned out, she wasn't able to come in. But she sent an update, and I have it here in her email, so I'll just read that to you. And we had our kickoff meeting a month ago of the first meeting of our steering committee, and I went back and reviewed my list, and 100% of our steering committee were able to participate along with all of us on Park Board. So I think it was a really strong kickoff to the trails planning process. Since then, Katie mentioned that physical condition mapping and analysis have begun, and all of her team members are focused on a specific portion of the assessment. She had a discussion with Donnie from MACOG to better understand the park planning effort, intended goals, and available mapping data. And Donnie is getting to her data and will serve as a resource throughout the trails planning effort. They will be launching the week of March 25th, next week, the public-facing tools, including the website updates, social media posting, and digital map tool. When these are ready, Katie's team will coordinate with us, Parks Board, for a press release and/or social media updates. And members of their team will be reaching out to coordinate a public information display that will be at the Fat and Skinny Tire Festival in May. And then lastly, the next steering committee meeting will be in late April. And that meeting will be focused on reviewing an updated route map and an initial set of design guidelines. And she, again, apologized for not being able to join us. But if we have questions or we need additional information, she wants us to let her know. and I'm happy to be the one to convey to her.
Is she writing the press release? Are they writing the press release, or is that something that needs to come from from us?
It's not real clear.
Okay.
I have a feeling that they would probably write it and have us approve it.
Okay, great.
Do you want to offer?
No, I mean, we have the capabilities, but I mean.
Yeah, okay.
But if they're not gonna write it, I mean, I'd rather them write it and us approve it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a feeling that they would want to approve it so that they may want to just, I think they have the resources,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. Any other questions or
Oh, that's a
comments?
great update.
Okay, great, thanks. Anybody here with us today that has questions related to the Trails Master Plan process? And I think we mentioned this at our meeting last month. It looks like it will be about October before the Trails Master Plan is complete. So we have a lot of work to do, and I think we're ready. We're waiting for assignments.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I would just like to say that, yeah, I was able to attend the kickoff meeting, and I felt like it was a great use of time, and it seemed like everyone was fully engaged, and we got a lot of feedback, and I was really, really happy with its structure and the way that it all came together.
Good, good. Great. Okay, so next we have further business, and Troy, I want to thank you for offering to do the presentation. I think that's with the Kiwanis Club?
Yes, the
next week?
Kiwanis, yes. I'm
And-
looking forward to it.
Good, good. Thank you very much for taking that on. And is there any other business that we want to bring up today?
No,
That is next Thursday. I think it's the 28th. No, let me check. I think Friday's the 30th, isn't it?
Let's see.
Yeah, it is the 28th. The 29th is Friday. My bad. Yep.
so I want to make sure that the community thinks we're doing things, we're keeping the ball moving. So I hate to bring it up without Mike and Rob being here, but we also do need to think about, okay, we've got this project going out on Old 30. Now, we really need to be thinking about, okay, what's the next project? What are we going to start pushing next? And then deciding on that. So I think we should probably add that to like next month, so we would say, okay, so we're moving ahead, keeping the ball rolling. What do you think about that?
Matt, do you think that that will come as a result of the Trails Master Plan? Or do you think we can make that decision before the Trails Master Plan is done?
Well, I don't know, because there are certain things that, at least in my mind,
Georgia?
Georgia has a very vested interest in running from Winona Lake out to Pearston. In my
Right.
mind, that's something, just a higher priority, and that's something I think we would need to do. So I do think we could get something moving without waiting, but that's just me, so.
Well, maybe one of the things that we can do along those lines, Matt, is talk about, other low-hanging fruit opportunities, which is kind of the way that the extension came to us to begin with. Maybe we, socialize that idea and see if anything comes to mind. I think it's a great
Yeah,
idea.
because I don't want to just sit up here and waste our time and maybe with the community is looking at us to get things done. So I want to be looked at as a board that's getting things done.
Yeah.
So if we could keep moving, I would love to do that.
You've got my support. Yep.
Yeah. And related to the Greenway Chenworth extension, we have Phase 1 that we're working with Triad on design and engineering, but anticipating Phases 2 and 3 and additional fundraising to construct more than just Phase 1 is another priority
Yeah.
that we can
And
be
how to pay
looking
for
at.
this, we can
Yeah.
dream all we want, we need to figure out ways to pay
Yeah.
for things too.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, so on that project, there's more decisions to be made beyond where we are right now.
Yep.
And hopefully that can come up, if not next month, at least the month after that. One thing that Rob mentioned at the end of last meeting, as we were reviewing our 8 goals and the sub-goals and what we might want to do this year, is how we communicate with the community. Of course, we appreciate that the press has been at many of our meetings. We get a lot more coverage than many entities in the community do, but we could also be sending out information. And Rob said that he would kind of think about, look into our setting up like an email list. And I didn't want this morning to ask him if he had a report out on that when I knew he wasn't feeling well.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'll reach out to him. I have time. I could help him with that if he needed it.
If we had a social media presence too, that would be really helpful. I mean, something where we can get a lot of engagement. It would require some maintenance. You know, we just can't put one thing up a month. We need to keep it active.
Yeah.
So we could be thinking through ways to do that
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So great.
Okay.
Oh, good, yeah. Call.
Yeah, our 5-year Parks Master Plan is still one of the top things when you go to the homepage for the county.
It sure is. It sure is.
Okay, great. Okay. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I've kind of, it's not any place that everybody can access yet, but I'm kind of keeping a list of
Yes.
various options that come up at different times and from time to time. And I know in talking with Commissioner Groninger that he has different ideas of potential funding sources, should we need them, that he may be able to help steer our direction to. But nothing that's earmarked for us at this point.
Yes, you're always my go-to person when I think about grants if I have a question, so I know that you've got your eye on those.
Yeah. Doesn't mean I know about everything. Yeah.
You know about a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. Anything else?
No.
I think that we've often met for only about half an hour, but I don't know if we've only met for 23 minutes before.
This is
Nice,
a new
you did a
record.
nice job running the meeting.
Kudos to you.
Yes.
Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you. And thank you to those of you joining us today.
All right, well, we've got some minutes probably. Do you guys want to, should we sign just one of these up here? You want to sign yours
Anyone?
first and then
Okay.
I'll sign?
Their trail or bike trail and, from the NDOT. Dan Tystra, who's on the redevelopment commission, the other day. They got approval for that.